students, do you see the same dichotomy in your own communities between the urban areas and the areas in which you live and the more rural areas? So why don't we pose this question to South Plantation? So South Plantation, the question is, what do you observe between the urban areas in your community versus, I know, are there rural areas in Florida, or how would you define the different communities within your region of the world?
Hi, my name is Josh, and in Florida, we have a lot of agriculture because you sell oranges and stuff. We have farms, but that's in the rural areas. It differs because most of the people live in the urban areas, and people that stay outside are usually farming and stuff. Thank you.
And do you see similarities and differences between the urban areas in your community and the urban areas in Ghana?
Well, back then we used to build houses from woods and everything, but now we use concrete and like plasterboards and everything. Like it's more modern, concrete floors. But back then it was mostly woods, which was more available.
Yeah, because in Ghana they mix both like urban and like agriculture in the urban areas. Yeah, they have similarities. Thanks.
And Joe, would you like to comment on that before we hand over the question to Westmount Charter?
Absolutely. First of all, South Plantation, what's the nearest big town? Because I was just in Gainesville recently. Is that near Gainesville somewhere?
No. No.
It's up north.
All the way down south.
It's up north. Okay. Okay. Well, I must say that I know a little bit. I know a bit about the rural, the kind of south, the southern part of America. As you see in my next slides, I'm doing some work also in New Orleans, and I suspect that there's a very similar culture of freed slaves, on the plantations, which created a certain unique architecture. I don't know if you know the shotgun house. Are they found in your neighborhood? The shotgun?
I've never heard of that.
No. Actually, like the plantains and everything was used like up north around like Gainesville and stuff. Over here it was mostly marshes and everything, so they couldn't farm here. So no, I don't think there was any.
Okay, good. I think we can go to Calgary to Canada now. Grace?
Hi there. My name is Lucas. Here in Calgary, we're a dense city center. We have about 1 million people. And as soon as you get outside the city limits, there's a lot of agriculture and prairie land. And if you go farther west, you have a mountainous region. Between our rural areas and our populated areas, there's not much difference in structure for the architecture, but there is a difference in the layout. So within the suburbs, the houses are very densely packed, while as you move farther away from the city, it becomes farther spread out, and houses aren't as close together.
That's very similar to most developing environments, where the further out that you go, it becomes less dense and so forth. And I must tell you that Africa is developing in a very similar way as in America. Most developers are copying these planned communities that you see everywhere, from California to Calgary, and some of them are not the best. So we hope that we can, as you get older, some of you will become architects and come up with better solutions for Africa and even for your own environments.
Great. Let's continue on with the slides.
Okay, next one. Now these are very quick images of some of the larger scale buildings which I'm doing in Accra. So again, the scales have changed. It's all about structure again. Next, very quickly. This is a very kind of eco community we're developing up in the hills. Next. Aha! I thought this might interest all of you. This is, we're working as part of the Katrina rebuild in New Orleans with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie to develop 150 houses in New Orleans. And so this last set of slides just shows that our practice, things break, and we are known for our interest in culture and context. And so we were invited as African architects to New Orleans to try and reinterpret the shotgun house, which is prevalent in the South, Mississippi and New Orleans. Next slide.
Joe, can we pause for a second? Can you elaborate? What is a shotgun house?
I think the next slides will. Let's just go to the next slide. I think.
Sorry.
Next slide. Next slide. Aha. Go back. The shotgun houses are very narrow. First of all, they are houses which were built on plantations by the slaves, and the history shows that it was inspired by these mud dwellings that you see at the bottom of the slide, which were Nigerian thatched adobe buildings. The slaves that moved into the Americas took this basic principle of a narrow house, which could fit on a very narrow plot, and then reinterpreted it and built them out of wood, which was plentiful in the American South. So this is a building which actually originated in West Africa and now is quite prevalent in certain parts of the Americas, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, and even in California. So that's the origins of the shotgun house. So our project tried to reinterpret the shotgun house for a contemporary New Orleans. Next. So these are some of the initial sketches. I sketch a lot to kind of to drive the inspiration. Next slide. So this is the beginnings of the shotgun house, how it fits into the context. The very narrow lot. It's an urban lot, very dense. Next slide. And this is some of my inspiration from the wall paintings of northern Ghana and also southern Africa. Next slide. So this is the building that we're building. It's currently under construction in New Orleans. It's a computer rendering of how it would fit in. That's it. So that's the end of the visual presentation, and that's my son, Kweku. I always end my lectures with a picture of him and the dog, because ultimately, all the work that we're doing, it's about the children. It's about you. It's about the youth. It's about humanity. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I'm going to open up the floor to questions from the students. Why don't we start with South Plantation High School. First question for Mr. Addo, please.
Hi, I'm Shaq. I was gonna ask the mud blocks. Can you make more than like 2 stories or 1-story buildings out of the mud blocks, or is it just consistent on only one building?
No, it can be made. I mean, if you go to South America or different part, or even North Africa, you see multi-story buildings made out of adobe. Now, typically, the way it would work structurally is you would create a frame which would support the entire roof of the building. So that often the mud blocks are used in what we term non-bearing capacity, which means it's not really holding up anything. So it would not be holding up anything. So you can go multi-story with adobe and mud.
Great question, South Plantation. I want to pass along the conversation to Calgary, Alberta. So Westmount Charter, I think it'd be really interesting if you were to tell Mr. Addo